For NPR News, I'm Joanna Gikisis in Athens.
And time now for our music project, Heavy Rotation. Each month, NPR Music asks public radio hosts and DJs to pick a favorite new song. NPR Music then compiles a list of those songs and posts it on our website, and each month we feature one of those songs here on Morning Edition. Today we're going to hear from the host and curator of NPR Music's newest internet radio channel. It's a non-stop R&B stream called I'll Take You There. And what goes better with Valentine's Day than a little R&B?
Yeah. My name is Jason King, and my pick for Heavy Rotation is No More by Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a R&B singer from Chicago. He's released a couple of albums. He's also done a mixtape. He is now about to release a new EP with an experimental producer whose name is Shlomo. And this song I wanted to present because I think in a lot of ways it represents the new R&B popular in 2014. Tell me who you really waiting for. One of the things that's interesting about Jeremiah is that he brings together three different strands of R&B music of the past. The first is the lover man tradition of the 1970s, Barry White, Marvin Gaye, that seductive come-on music. He also brings in the 90s freaky R&B tradition that is represented by R. Kelly, where it's much more carnal and explicit. And then the third strand is the kind of confessional R&B that's popular today, which is much more moody and melancholic and dark and minimalist. Just a minute, you got it, baby. Ain't you ready to go? And you ready, you know it, lady. Baby, baby, I know. It has a gritty texture to it. It's experimental and a little bit lo-fi, but I think that's part of the nature of how the song constructs its own mystery. This is not your typical Valentine's Day song. This is not the song that you play at your wedding. But it's intimate and it has very kind of hypnotic, rapturous quality to it. And that's really why I included it.
Hey, that's Jason King, host of I'll Take You There, NPR Music's new 24-hour soul R&B stream. Boy, don't you want to sing that line when you say it? I'll take you there. He's talking about his pick for Heavy Rotation, No More, by Jeremiah. And you can find the complete list of Heavy Rotation picks at npr.org/music.
Support for NPR Music's Heavy Rotation series comes from Lexus. With the new 2014 CT Hybrid, the further you go, the more interesting it gets. Learn more at lexus.com/CT.
Support for NPR comes from NPR member stations and from Unisys Corporation, maker of Unisys Stealth cybersecurity software. You can't hack what you can't see. Learn more at unisys.com/stealth. Capitol Records with the Beatles. The U.S. albums box set, 13 albums presented in both mono and stereo in replica miniature LP packaging, now at Amazon. And Inada, crafting shiatsu massage chairs for over 50 years, and makers of the Dreamwave Total Body Massage Chair at dreamwavechair.com. I'm Andrew Yeager. Thanks for listening. It is Thursday, February 13th. And from NPR News, it's Morning Edition. Coming up, violence continues to plague the Central African Republic. The Obama administration has poured tens of millions into the conflict and has helped transport neighboring troops to the region. The fighting continues.
Honestly speaking, we're nowhere near where we need to be if these demons almost that have been unleashed are to be neutralized.
Hear from U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, coming up in about 15 minutes. Many schools on delayed starts or closed today. Schools delayed include UAB, Samford University, Birmingham Southern College. They'll open at 11 this morning. Closings include Gadsden State Community College, Birmingham, Etowah County, Gadsden City Schools, Homewood, Hoover, Jefferson County, Mountain Brook, Shelby County, and Vestavia Hills. Also, state officials say don't be out on the roads unless you absolutely have to be. LDOT recommends staying put until noon today. It's partly sunny skies expected, highs around 50. It's 8:30.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Dave Mattingly. The snowplows and power crews are working overtime today from Georgia to Maine. Ice in the south and heavy snow from western North Carolina to New England are making travel difficult. Up to 1.5 feet of snow is expected in some areas by tonight. Rima Crace with member station WUNC reports commuters in North Carolina are among those dealing with some dicey roads.
Bobby Norris's drive home usually takes 20 minutes. On Wednesday night, it took 3 hours.
I should have stayed at work and spent the night at work. It'd been safer, less stress.
53-year-old Randy Jones stayed home. That is until he had to pick up his wife. She got stranded on a highway in Raleigh.
This is bad. I'm a former Yankee, so I know what driving in the snow is like, but this is bad. This is bad.
North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory is urging state employees to stay off the roads and work at home. For NPR News, I'm Rima Grace in Chapel Hill.
Power companies say it could take days to restore electricity to more than 500,000 homes and businesses in the South. The airlines have canceled more than 5,000 flights today, largely in the Northeast, from Washington to Boston. Amtrak says its train schedules have also been affected. In Pakistan today, a suicide bomber targeting a bus full of police officers has killed 11 people. Dozens more were wounded. NPR's Philip Reeves in Islamabad reports this is the third major attack in Pakistan in as many days.
The bombing happened in the southern port city of Karachi, where dozens of police have been killed by militants this year, including the top counter-terrorism officer. This is another blow to current efforts to get peace talks going between the government and Pakistan's Taliban. Wednesday, 9 people from a pro-government militia were killed in the northwest frontier city of Peshawar, just as that city was mourning the deaths the day before of 13 people in a grenade attack on a movie theatre. This continuing violence during attempts to start a peace process will strengthen suspicions that the Taliban's divided. It'll also lead to more pressure on Pakistan's government to abandon peacemaking and send the army into the militants' mountain havens. Philip Reeves, NPR News, Islamabad.
Secretary of State John Kerry is warning North Korea to tone down its rhetoric. During a visit to Seoul today, Kerry and South Korea's foreign minister dismissed Pyongyang's demands that the U.S. halt upcoming military exercises with the South. Kerry says North Korea should not use the exercises as an excuse to stay away from nuclear talks. New claims for jobless benefits in the U.S. are up. The Labor Department says they rose by 8,000 last week. The broader 4-week average also saw an increase. Separately, the Commerce Department is reporting retail sales declined last month. They went down 0.4. This is NPR News.
This is your NPR News station, 90.3 WBHM Birmingham and 91.5 WSGN Gadsden. I'm Andrew Yeager. As parts of north central Alabama spent the night dealing with ice and snow showers, there's a potential deal attracting attention around Birmingham. City Council is considering renting space in a former Social Security building. And while the move is questionable, the situation involves a shower of campaign cash as well. Here to explain the situation is Alabama Media Group columnist John Archibald. He joins us safely inside from the snow. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Andrew.
Well, tell us about this proposed deal for the city to rent space in this old building.
It's under consideration. It's not ready to come up for a vote yet, but it's being pushed by the city. And it would lease about 263,000 square feet of space in the old, when I say old, the 1970s Social Security building down by City Center. It had a cost of about $5.3 million a year, which adds up to something like $139 million to rent the space, and this week get it back to owners.
Well, sometimes it's better to rent space and let someone else pay for the upkeep and such. Why don't you think this is such a good deal for the city?
At $139 million over the course of that, it's for a building that those DHR workers who did it recently, and Social Security workers who used to be in, it's really not a hard. That's really one of the big issues, and you can, there are a lot of alternatives, but frankly, a lot of political elements around it add to the stench, as it were. I mean, first of all, the campaign cash you mentioned after the campaign for the Franklin Painting Company out of Chattanooga dumped $130,000 into the coffers of 6 city council members, which is, I mean, that may not sound like a lot of money to people who are used to looking at presidential and gubernatorial races and that sort of thing. But that is an astounding amount of money in a Birmingham city council race, and 6 city council members received a good chunk of that.
So you're saying this isn't just a simple real estate transaction. The amount of money that the company that owns the building gave to city council members, that's just not common.
Well, it may be a simple real estate transaction in the end. Whether it's a good real estate transaction for the city of Birmingham is debatable, but clearly there is a lot of political money being used to grease those wheels. And there's more that's going to come out. It's not just the city council members who are receiving money. The mayor's received money in the past. There are governors who have received money in the past that from this company in an effort to get state money. And that's the way it works, perhaps, but it's something that people should be well aware of as the city